This is about changing over a F14 Tomcat to LED lights and changing a few other things on the playfield. Right now this is the way it is before, the way the lighting is. With all incandescent bulbs. The bumper is just a normal bumper, the one that came with the machine. Along the sides, it's just the standard clear plastic sides on both sides. The Tomcat targets up top are just the standard blue and red. Same along the sides. Standard white targets with incandescent bulbs. Now these the standoffs here, the star posts, they're the standard blue. Come with the machine. This is a picture or a video without the glass on the top, so you get rid of the glare. One thing I got here is they have some of the mylar that came with the machine is coming up a little bit. It's not, the playfield's in pretty good shape. Other than that, okay, this is with a few LEDs just to test them out. And on the bottom here, you can tell how bright the first four are versus the last three. The last three are the old incandescents. First three are LEDs. The first three are from Coin Pro, and the fourth one is from Pinball Life. To me, they're all a little too bright, the white ones, and so I'm gonna change them down to some dimmer ones. And the blue arrows I changed out to LEDs. The top two are the old incandescents. 64 and 32 are the incandescents, and going down the row, those were all LEDs. They're all different. The first one is a Coin Pro Super. The 2X is a Coin Pro Premium 2 LED. The 4K, or the 4K is a Pin Life 3 LED. The 8 times is a Pin Life Concave. That one's probably the dimmest. Not sure if it shows up in the video. And the 16K is a Pinball Life Dome, and they all pretty much look the same. The 8K is a little dimmer, so I'm probably going to pick the cheapest among those in order to populate those, and I'll also get them in red. The red ones that I have right now are still the incandescents. Down on the bottom, I changed the bumpers. One I left white with some white LEDs, and on the left and on the right I have blue LEDs, and I like the blue better. And if you look at the top on both sides, there's a brighter one right up front, which I like. The one on the bottom of each of those bumpers is a different kind or different style, and it's lower, and it doesn't show the playfield as much, show on the playfield as much. Looking from the side, one's like a tower. That's the brighter one on top, that's in the forward, and the one on the back is a lower one, and that's why it doesn't show on the playfield as much. Down below, there's a dome one, and that's also from Coin Pro. I'm going to change that back to white for the bottom. section under there by the lights flyby. Eventually I'm going to change out these star posts that are there holding it up to be a lighted star post, and those are all going to be lit with blue, so keeping everything blue I think will be good. On the white side, it's all pretty bright, and I prefer the blue over the white for those areas. I changed over the bumper, the center bumper, and I got that at Pinball Life. And right now I just have the outer ring lit. You can light up the inner ring of the LEDs. This is an active bumper to where once you push down on it, it's supposed to flash. But on this F14 game, the bumper doesn't move. The bumper has to move and for the active flash to work. If you turn it up bright enough, you can see that it will shine. So you can see the white light shining down on the playfield, and I kind of like that. So I made it bright enough. If you keep turning it brighter, then the bottom light kind of illuminates. Okay, I moved the LEDs that I had down here for the kills, for the white. There's only one left. That's the second one on the Bravo. That's still there compared to the other ones. But I moved those up to the rip off and the release and the lights release button, and I like them up there better because they're nice and bright. Those ones should be bright, in my opinion. I'm still just going to go with a dimmer light down there. Now up near the top I got some blue LEDs, and the one in the middle there, I don't really think I want that blue to be blue. I want it to be white. But I'm thinking I'm going to take this blue concave LED, and move that over and try it over here. We'll see what happens. There's another blue light that's behind the targets that I put there. That one might be okay. We'll see how things go. Now on the back glass, there's 3 LEDs that I put in there. I wanted to see how they would look. This one is super bright. I put it right there. I think that's too bright, at least for that particular area. This one's a little dimmer, but I think it's still a little too bright. I might use these like in the back of the plane here someplace as a little bit of a contrast to some other ones. There's one right here that's too dim, and that's another concave one. Somebody suggested using concaves in this back glass. I don't like it. I think I would just go with a general illumination one, but not super bright like these. In comparison, you can see the LEDs with the back glass removed. You can see how some of them are really bright, and that's okay, but if it lights up too much of an area that it's intended to, well, that's not what I want. When we bought the machine, the beacons, rotating beacons at the top, where the wire was cut. You can see the wire right here, where that was cut. And the motor's just kind of dangling here. And we bought that, it's been that way for 20 some odd years. And I bought a new motor. I'm going to try to make it work. We're going to see how it works out. I'm going to try to splice the wires back in. We'll see what happens. One thing that I had a problem with was the batteries. Before, it was right on the main board here, and there was a clip that had all of them on there. The batteries corroded. I didn't change them as often as I should. And what we did was we put a remote battery pack on there. It was suggested by some pinball repair people to put that on there. it's a much better solution than they claim. Well, I don't know what the difference is, but we did it, and it's sitting there now. The good thing is that if it was on the board and there was corrosion, it could contaminate the main board itself. With it being just above it, I don't know if it's going to make that much difference, but we'll see. Well, on the bottom are the pinball cards, and these are the originals. And I found online on Pinside.com sets of other designs, and these are the two that I like the best. But I like, for the left one, I like this one in this set, and for the right one, I like this one in this set. And so I'm gonna kind of mix and match. The reason why is because this one is kind of hard to read with the black letters and the blue background. Not super easy to read. This one's a lot easier to read. So I'm going to mix and match. And this is what the cards will look like once they're installed. I think it's a much better improvement. Okay, this is the back panel with the LED bulbs in them. Up here, behind the plane over here, I put yellow LEDs. If you get close enough, you'll see that there's circles in them. And I don't like the circles being there. So I'm going to replace the yellow ones with the whites so I don't get these circle patterns around every bulb. Okay. What I've done is I've replaced the light under here with a single dimmer LED bulb where it's got one LED in it. This was the brighter ones that I had, it still had in there. This is the old version, the incandescents. And you can see the difference to where it's brighter than the incandescents, but it's not super bright. And I like that. I think it's much better. Okay, this is with the bottom part complete. All the kill lights are now replaced, and they're replaced with a mini LED light bulb, which is more of an off-white, and it makes it much easier. It doesn't blind you to death, and those come from Coin Taker. The bottom two, there's a red one under Flight Insurance and a yellow one under Fly Again. Those are brighter. Those came from Pinball Life. I bought the plastic sheet protector for the Playfield, and installing it, you can see it's curled up, and there's no real way to keep it down, even with the posts and things. Curls up on the bottom side, and at the top side. That's the way that it was rolled up. If they would have rolled it the other way, the ends would be down. But there's no real way to keep this down. It doesn't stay down. So that I don't like. After having the sheet protector rolled up the opposite way for 3 days, and the end's still rolling up just a bit, I'm going to try with 2x4s to give them a permanent set the opposite way. Just the end pieces, just to get them all to go the other way where it was curling up. So we'll see how this does, and hopefully this works. If it doesn't, then we'll probably send it back. As you can see, after trying several things, the plastic still won't stay down. This is set on the machine on the playfield for an extra week here now, since trying to play with rolling it backwards and trying to bend it the other way. It still isn't doing it. So if they would have just bent it the other way, it would have been better. But I'm gonna have to try to put glue dots down or something to try to make it work. Big Area Amusements is giving me a rough time, saying they can't view videos or pictures. I have to send it somewhere else. And so I'm just getting a little bit tired of it. I'm gonna try to make it work. Even though I shouldn't, I should try to send it back and get it one that's right, but I'll probably just get one back that's the same exact thing. So we'll try to deal with it. Okay, what I'm attempting is to put glue spots down, and unfortunately it bled underneath a little bit, but we'll see how it works. Putting glue spots in various places to try to hold this down at, having to use wrenches and things to hold it down so it will get glued in various spots. I don't know if this is going to work, but we will see. Trying it in various spots. Okay, well, gluing down the plastic playfield protector in order to get the bends out of it was okay, but using Elmer's glue, you still see some white coming through. That would be more clear. Try to use a clear glue if you're gonna try to do what I did. Most of the spots are in areas that are going to be covered. Right in here. I can't see that one too good. But there's a spot there. A spot back here. That's going to be covered. Back over here you can see some discoloration a little bit where some glue bled underneath it. But won't be as noticeable from way back here. And here's one down here where it was peeling up. I glued. That's going to be covered. Up in here, there's some discoloration from the glue seeping underneath it. But I guess my recommendation is, if you get a playfield protector that is rolled the wrong way, don't even take apart your pinball machine, return it and get your money back. So if it's rolled the wrong way, I tore this whole thing apart. I was going to make it work because they're not working with me here. So I guess it's okay, in my opinion. It's not going to be too noticeable. I'll notice it, but most other people won't. It's most of the places where I had to glue it will be covered up, or you won't see it. This one back here, you're going to be looking from the top, from the back of the pinball machine. You're not even going to see it back here as you're looking. So there might only be one or two spots that they'll be able to see. And I held it down with all kinds of wrenches and things. This one is still up. I didn't want to glue that down because it was going to buckle things, because it's not perfect the way that it is. And I'm still probably going to have to modify the plastic a little bit, cut it or something in order to make that work. But Overall, I'm not super happy, and most of that is because it was rolled the wrong way. And now the fun begins. We start to put it back together. Hopefully I can remember where the screws went to. Okay, before I put it back together, I wanted to make sure all the light bulbs are working. There was a few LEDs that were not working. And so I got some blue ones that'll go near the bumpers down here. Got some white ones coming down here. And a bunch of general illumination white ones that came from CoinTaker Pro or CoinTaker. And generally all the blinking ones came from Pinball Life. But I think it's doing pretty good. The lock lights I changed over to LED. I was debating whether I was going to keep the incandescents with the condoms on them or not. But I decided to go with the LEDs. I think they'll look nice. I got a new landing lock sticker from Bay Area Amusement. Also got a new Kill Yurgoff sticker. And I'll start putting her back together. With the Playfield raised up just a little bit with a piece of plastic, the ball would catch on this metal plate here that backing up right where the ball chute comes across, and when the ball drops it would get caught on that plate. So what I had to do was I added in underneath a piece of welding rod, aluminum welding rod, to prop that piece up just a little bit so the ball can slip underneath it. But that's one of the problems of putting the Playfield on the F14 is the top of the ball gets stuck there. So you got to account for that. I put washers on the outboard side where the screws are to raise that side up, but I had to put a little piece of welding rod going across. Can't see it in the pic. I can't show it, but it's under there to raise it up just a little bit on the other side. Okay, now with the plastics off, you can see the welding rod that's sticking out from that plate. I had to prop up just enough so that the ball could slip underneath it. Slip underneath that plate. So that when the ball comes down, it'll slip underneath there and head on back through. One thing that I learned from Grumpy on Pinside is for the flasher boards to change them over to LEDs, there's these warming resistors, as they're somewhat called, that you have to remove in order for the LEDs to work. Otherwise they'll stay on all the time. And on the F14 there's large resistor here and there's a small resistor here. So this is the warming resistor, the small one, and you have to cut it and take it off so that the LED will work. For the LED strips, I attached the ground wire to the boards, to the light boards at the lamp connection, and with labeling, 7 is probably supposed to be over with number 6, but that board was open, it was most convenient. 7 wasn't used, but I'm going to use it. I'm going to add it. So there's 1. Up here is 2, 3, and it goes down, 4, 5, keep going down, There's 6, and I had 7 way over to the left, and then right in the center is 8. And with those wires, I'm wiring them into a partitioned block here so that I can wire up to the LED strips on the back and the bottom of the machine. So those are for flashers 1 through 8. This is the end finished product after I completed it. I routed the extra wires through a loom except for the red wire. The loom disperses all of the wires from the boards, from the flasher boards 1 through 8, and those eventually go down to the LED strips underneath the machine. Then for the power for the LED strips, I went off of the AC relay board right here, attached a red wire for the power. Took that all the way up, routed it with the around on the outside of the black loom, and eventually came into my power distribution block, which is fused. Put 5-amp fuses in each one, and each one of those corresponds to the flashers on the bottom of the machine. Then wired them out the back and into out the hole in the back of the machine and under it. Now the reason why I have this block here for the grounds is because in the case that I need to take the whole playfield out, I have one connection right there where I could disconnect all 8 of those wires and the power wire and be able to take the whole playfield out of the machine if need be. I doubt I'll ever need to do that, but just in case. When the machine pivots with the playfield coming down, the way that it is it's right at that pivot, so when I bring it down, the wires aren't going to get caught in nothing, and they're out of the way, they're not flexing around. Raise the support up, and it's not hitting because I have wires tied off right off to the side of the machine, and it won't be in the way. I put it on that side of the machine versus the other, just because we got a lot of ground wires going on the other side. Some ground straps, and it's connected to the speaker, which has got some metal sheeting underneath it, and I just wanted to avoid that area, so I put it over on the right side of the machine. Okay, right now I'm under the machine. To my left is the front of the machine, and the back of the machine is to my right. What I did was I put these LED strips underneath, and they are in order for flasher 1, flasher 2, flasher 3, flasher 4, and these are all red strips, 5 and 6. Hot glue didn't help. The hot glue, the LED strips had adhesive on the back, but they didn't stay for nothing. Added hot glue, and the hot glue stuck to the particle board, but not the LED strip. So what I ended up doing was using Gorilla Glue underneath, and then taped them. Glue's still kind of setting up. For whatever reason, it looks like the Gorilla Glue has foamed up a little bit here and there. Not sure if that's an incompatibility with the sticky stuff on the back of the LED strips or not, but it should hold. So that's flashers 1 through 6 that are red. Then flasher 8 for my yellow I have coming, and I tee it off to 3 LED strips, which one is on the left side of the machine, which is this one, which goes the length of it. Same thing on the other. Then I have one coming in the middle here too. And that sets off a nice flash in the center of the machine underneath where the number 8 flasher is above, which is where the target is and where the ship is. So that's where those flashers go. And I wired it with a loom. just to try to keep anybody from pulling wires by accident. And it goes right up through the back hole of the machine. Doesn't completely block it, so there's still air going up. The other side, the hole is completely free, so there should be adequate ventilation in there. Now for flashers 1 through 6, they usually go in a series for locking and everything. On the back, we'll go flasher 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is underneath here. And they'll just go, when you do a lock on, it'll scan this way and then it'll scan back that way. So underneath the machine, the flashers will flash back and forth. Okay, so now on the Playfield, the flashers are, flasher 1 is here, flasher 2 is underneath here, flasher 3 is over here, flasher 4, 5, and 6. So you'll see when you do a lock on and they go back and forth this way, it'll also go around the Playfield up here and then back again. Flasher 7 that they didn't use, flasher 8, that's what this one is. And there's also a flasher under here for that. And I made those both be yellow for like an explosion. And that's why my LED strips underneath the machine are also yellow, so that from a player's perspective, when that flash is yellow, you'll see a yellow light come from around the sides, lighten up, like the explosion's going right through the machine, which is a real neat effect. Alright, now for flasher number 9. Both of these go off at the same time. At the same time, flashers up here go off for flasher 9. And the other ones are flasher 10. And those go off as the explosion on the translight. Now what I did for those is I hooked some extra wires, the black and red wires, up to those lights. They go right through the machine and out the back. Okay, now I'm at the back of the machine. I had to turn the lights off in the room, otherwise there was too much glare. But the wires come out the back of the machine. They go through a loom. And the back corner, the upper back corner up here, that's going to correlate to flasher 10, and that's blue. This one's going to correlate to flasher 9, this set. And that's blue. So that's kind of like the sky is lighting up when the explosion goes off in the translight and for the behind the plane. So that gives it a real neat effect from a player's perspective. Now down here, this was the unused flasher number 7 that I connected these two to, and I put a yellow strip on the right side of the machine from the player's perspective and red on the other side, because the plane is mostly over here in the translight, so you want the brighter yellow behind where the yellow flash is, and then the red is kind of over here. And I just chose those colors because they were extras that I had. And it made it look a lot better. This flasher number 7 works with flasher 10 and 9 real well. It has its own little mode that it goes through. So these are on the back of the machine, and what they do is they flash against the wall, and it gives it a real neat effect. Okay, now in the beginning I was mentioning that we had this hanging motor that was up here. What I did was I bought a different replacement motor on eBay. Supposedly this is better. I don't know, we'll see. And spliced those wires back in. They were cut before, and I reconnected them, soldered them, and put some heat shrink on them. So those are working good. I had to buy some belts up here. And for the flat for the beacons, you can't really see it too well, but I bought some LEDs for up in the beacons that are direct replacements, and what they do is you can just plug and play, just put them in there and they'll work. You don't have to do any special wiring. I bought them from Coin Taker and they work real good. Okay, now for the popper, what I did was I added a lighted popper. And this is supposed to have some sort of active flash with it, but that doesn't work on the F14 because this would have to pop up and down in order for the active flash to work. There must be some sort of instrumentation in there to where it'll know when this goes up and down. When it does, a flash will occur on the from the underside. You can see from my fingers there's a light underneath there, and this is adjustable. You can adjust it to where for brightness. This is not as bright as it can go. I made it just enough to where if the ball's in the area, you'll be able to see it. That light isn't there normally, so this is an extra added little feature to where you can see the ball coming up around where this is. And so it adds some more light to it. Now these stickers, they're a vinyl sticker, and I bought them from a guy from Canada on eBay, and I like them a lot. They're thick, they're not going to tear. You'd take a lot of effort to get them to tear. They're nice, bright, and brilliant, and I think it adds a little bit rather than just a clear plastic with no explanation of what's going on. That's on the left side. I bought it as a package to include the ones on the right side. And the guy claims it kind of tells a story of the guy that's doing the launch, but I like it. It adds a little bit to the game. It's better than the clear. There's a little extra little missile here on the side for that location that they have too. They're fairly easy to apply. You just apply soap first, soapy water, then you stick the sticker down, which makes it to where you can still move it a little bit, and you let it set up. And it sticks pretty good. It doesn't come up very easy. So it's not peeling. It's been on there for a few months now. I bought a new Kill General Yagov sticker, and just to brighten that area up. I also got from Bay Area Amusements the stickers for the spinner for both sides. The thing that I don't like is that the color, the blue background, changed. It's not the same as the original, and you know, the original was more like the blue on the plastics. This is more of a purple. That's the one thing I didn't like about that. Now, one of the things I bought was some new star posts, and along with the new star posts underneath I bought some LEDs, some blue LEDs to go with the blue star posts, and it kind of lights up the area a little bit better for when the ball is down here, kind of like a passive illumination. It's not super bright, but I like it. It gives a little bit of a blue accent down here. Same thing with the other side, and there's one more up here near the outline. Gotta get it in focus here. It's near the blue outline. Now those you can hook up to flashers, but with everything else, with all these other flashers that are real bright and that pretty much blind you when they start going off, you aren't really going to notice these. And when you set those up to where they're connected to the flashers, what happens is these dim normally. I'd rather have them brighter while we're playing, because it just adds a little bit of illumination, a light blue glow to it, and I like that a lot better. Now with the LEDs for the target areas, and what I did for where the cat is, where these are blue LEDs, I made these blue LEDs behind here also to give it a back globe kind of thing, and they're frosted. You probably can't tell because it's probably a little bit too bright, but they're frosted back there so it's not super bright on your eyes, to where you'll be able to see the bulb from a player standpoint, and you don't want it super bright shining at you. So if you get it frosted, it comes across a lot better. On the other side, where the tom is, those are red, so I have them back illuminated with a little bit of red as well. Now for the center targets, they're white targets here, or they're white flashers in front, and so they're back illuminated with white, and again those are frosted also. Now one of the things, I ordered these targets, these special cushion targets from a guy on eBay, and they were supposed to have the F14 insignia on it. I didn't really realize it until after I stuck half of them on there that it didn't have the F14 on there. And I contacted him. He said, yeah, it was a mistake. He did ship me the F14 cushioned targets, but these are stuck on real good. I'm not going to worry about it too much. And that's one thing. These cushion targets from this guy, they do stay on real good. And compared to like some that I got for my Waz, which are, you know, somewhat coming off, they're peeling off and that. So I'll give them a thumbs up on the stickiness. As far as the cushion, this thing is so fast anyway, the way the ball flies around, it's not going to affect the game all that much. And I'd rather have a little bit of extra cushion. So that's what I have to say about the targets. Now underneath the slingshots, those LEDs, those bright LEDs that are underneath there, besides the star post, those are blue as well. That way it gives off a nice blue glow on the bottom, and I prefer that over the white. There's enough white down here with this down here and all these other kill targets or kill indicators going off. Now, one thing that I will mention is the LEDs that I bought for the kill notifications. Those are a single LED, and they're a softer white. They're not as bright. And with the ball bouncing around down here, and you're trying to see what's going on with these illuminated, and everything else going off, this makes it a lot easier. You're not blinded as much as you are by something as bright as what this would be. So you can tell that. Okay. Well, up near the top, what I did was I put in, for the center underneath here, I put a white frosted, because it's frosted because it's not as bright, let's say, as this one back here, which is you don't see from a player position. From back here, it's a lot brighter, to where this one is more soft a little bit because it's got the frosted thing on it. And so I put the white up there. Behind these, I do have one extra blue underneath here, one blue LED that's behind these targets. It gives a little bit of blue. It was just because I had an extra blue from trying out a bunch of different LEDs, and I thought I'd like that a little bit. There's enough white to go back behind here to see the ball going. I thought more towards the front, I'd give a little bit of a blue accent. It's not really noticeable, but I like it. Now for the flashers in the translate, I just used the flat ones with all of them facing out, because that's where the player is at, instead of the tower ones, which would shine sideways. Same thing with the flashers 1 through 6 on the red lights up here. They're flashing straight out, and they're not too bright. They don't blind you that badly, and they're not the tower kind of flashers that go sideways. These just flash straight out. These other ones, the other flashers, they do have they're the 5 top. The other flashers have got 5 LEDs on them, and one in each direction and one up top. And on the Playfield, they're colored the same as their cap is, to where this one is white, which is flasher 1. Okay. Flasher 2 over here, or actually this is flasher 4, is red, and then white, and then blue. And then back here, this one has a blue flasher, and this one's a white flasher. So I matched them all to what their cap is. Those are pretty bright. You only need the 5. You only need the 5 LEDs for those. Anything more and it really gets blinding. Another thing that I've changed is these cushions that are behind the targets. I replaced all of those with new ones. And also all the acorn nuts, as they're called. Replaced all those that are on top. I replaced the plunger tip. Got a new one of those, so that's all nice and new. Also got new pinball balls. I was told by someone in Minnesota, a friend that I got there, that balls should be replaced every 2 years as they get pits on them and will mark up your playfield, no matter how much that you wax it. And of course you do have to wax it, and even if you have a playfield protector, they recommend that you wax the top surface. The only thing I advise when you do wax, if you do have a playfield protector, is where there's void for, let's say, these slingshots. If you wax the surface, wipe it away from the voids, otherwise some of the debris will catch underneath here, and no matter how much you try, there will be a gap there, and some of it will eventually get underneath the playfield, and then you're going to have a heck of a time cleaning that up. Things that I would consider for future enhancement: these beacons, they're cleaned, but they're kind of old and faded. So at some point I may get new beacon covers, but for right now they're okay. Another thing is, I have this toy. Somebody else did this that posted online, and they had this F14 toy that they mounted right in here somehow and put a bracket on it and attached it to this screw. I might do something like that or attach it someplace else. I don't know. Maybe over in here where it's not going to interfere with the ball. But I'll do something. I'm not sure what. So this is the LED attract mode for the game, and it's bright, it's brilliant, it's not super blinding because I didn't get the LEDs where they were the super brightest. That's the way I like it. I just like it brilliant in color, rich in color. The flashers are real bright, but I'll show you those in a minute. Yeah, well, I'm almost at the one. So, there you go. Okay, now we got those going on. catch it, there's going to be a little bit of a show. So that's my video of the upgrades and enhancements I made to my pinball machine. I'm definitely not a professional. I learned a lot along the way. Special thanks to Grumpy for helping me out with some of the flasher issues and figuring out how to make some of that happen and giving me some ideas. And hope you like it. Thanks.